All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are going to break down something that can give you a massive competitive edge in Minecraft PvP. We're talking about your hotbar, your keybinds, and it all starts with these hidden rules of the game you probably didn't even know existed.
Okay, let's just dive right in, because this is a frustration I think every serious player has felt. If you are still using your scroll wheel to swap items in a fight, you are putting yourself at a huge disadvantage. It is just not fast enough for high-level combat, period.
So to really get why it's so bad, we need to kind of pop the hood on Minecraft itself. See, the game has this hidden engine with really strict rules that govern every single action you take. And if you know these rules, you can actually start using them to your advantage.
And it all boils down to one number, 20. Minecraft runs at a steady 20 ticks per second. Now, this has nothing to do with your frame rate or your FPS. This is the game's internal heartbeat, right? And it means the game is processing actions in these tiny little chunks of time.
So each one of those ticks is just 50 milliseconds. And yeah, that sounds super fast, but in the middle of a fight, it is an eternity. And here's the crucial part. You ready? The game can only select one hotbar slot per tick. That's it. So what happens if you input multiple hotkey presses within that tiny 50 millisecond window? Well, the game has to decide which one to listen to and which one to just ignore.
So how does it decide? This is where it gets really interesting. The game checks for your key presses in a loop, from slot 1 all the way to slot 9. And here's the kicker. It will always prioritize the input for the later slot in the hotbar. This is the concept called slot priority, and we can strategically exploit this to our advantage.
All right, so let's move on and see how this all builds into a smarter hotbar layout. The goal here is to prevent those costly input errors right in the middle of a fight. We're going to stop fighting the game's mechanics and start working with them.
Okay, check this out. This slide shows a classic move, the shield disable. You want to hit him with the axe, then swap to the sword for the damage, right? Well, if your axe is in a lower priority slot than your sword, say axe in slot 1, sword in slot 2, and you're panicking and mashing keys, there's a good chance the game just skips the axe input completely. But if you flip them, put the axe in the higher priority slot, you guarantee that shield break happens, even if your inputs are messy.
And look, this same logic applies to a bunch of other stuff. For all you crystal PvP players out there, you always want your obsidian to have a higher priority than your crystals. Why? Because it ensures you place your cover block first, even if you're just spamming buttons to stay alive. It's about making sure the most critical action wins that little 50 millisecond race.
So, having the right layout is only half the battle, right? Now, you need a way to access these slots instantly, without, and I mean ever, using that scroll wheel. Let's talk about keybinds.
Yeah, this quote right here, this should be your mantra. You should never have to stand still to change a hotbar slot. The whole point is to maintain full mobility while you're swapping items, and that's just impossible if you're limited to the number keys your index finger can reach.
So what's the secret? It's pretty simple, actually. Use more fingers. The key is to create a keybind setup that lets you use multiple fingers, your thumb, your pinky, so that one action doesn't block another. You can sprint, strafe, and swap items all at the same time.
So think of these keys as your new toolkit. They're all right there, close to your WASD hand position, and you can use them without messing up your movement. Oh, and here's a huge pro tip. Rebind your item drop key. Get it off of Q. Put it somewhere like G, somewhere you won't hit it by accident. That frees up Q, which is one of the best, most accessible keys you've got. All right, let's put it all together. We're going to design a system where your hotbar layout and your new keybinds work in perfect sync. This isn't about just throwing random keys at the problem. It's about creating synergy.
So, listen up, because this is a really crucial point. Don't just assign these new keys to your old familiar layout. That's thinking about it backwards. Instead, organize your hotbar around your keybinds. Figure out which keys are most comfortable and fastest for you to hit, and then build your layout based on that. For example, right? You want items that you switch between really fast, like a sword and an axe, to be on keys that you press with different fingers, maybe 1 and R. That way you're not trying to do two things with the same finger. And for something like a utility item, a totem or a gapple, a side mouse button is perfect. You can hit it without affecting your movement or your aim at all.
Okay, so you have the theory now. It's time to build the muscle memory that's going to make all of this second nature. Because knowing it is one thing, but doing it without thinking is what wins fights.
So, first things first, you got to break that scroll wheel habit. And the easiest way to do that? Make it basically unusable. Go into your settings and turn your scroll sensitivity way, way down. It's kind of like taking the training wheels off. It forces you to learn the right way.
Here is a simple little 3-step drill to get you started. 1. Just go slot by slot. Slowly practice selecting each item in order using only your new keys. 2. And this is important, keep moving forward. Never ever practice this standing still. And 3. Take it into a real game. Jump into UHC or Crystal PvP and test it out under pressure. That's where you'll really see what works.
So there you have it. By combining slot priority with custom keybinds, you're no longer fighting the game's own mechanics. You're actually using them to your advantage. You've got the knowledge. The only question left is, how are you going to build your ultimate setup?